AskReddit by Redditor. What dark secret is your school hiding from the students? My school district gave all high school students laptops that they could bring home with them to use for school work. They could also remotely activate the webcams and spy on students, although of course they didn't tell us this. One kid got caught smoking weed this way while he was in his room at home, and I think was going to get suspended. He sued the district in response for invasion of privacy and won the case. It got national media attention for a little while. Good for him. My friend's sister got suspended for a fight she got into after school, off school grounds. Their parents fought it and got the suspension reversed. I'm tired of schools thinking they have any say in what kids do on their own time. Unless a student specifically gets school personnel involved, it's none of their business. The assistant principal died in a car accident. There was a big somber school assembly in his honor. His wife said a few words, and then his 14-year-old daughter came to the microphone to say a few words. She sort of snapped and unloaded about how he was not a good guy. He was a monster who had been abusing her and her little sisters and using them for kiddie fun for years, and she was glad he was dead. I've never heard a room full of people grow so silent, so fast. Well, that took a turn. Damn. How'd the wife/mom react to that? She just stood stone still. Hard to say if it was because she was shocked and didn't see it coming, or because the terrible family secret was out. The girl walked out, and a teacher who was leading the assembly stammered for the band to play because that was next on the agenda. Only about 1/4 of the band kids even picked up their instruments, but the rest of the family exited awkwardly at that point. Everyone's favorite teacher was in fact banging that student he always hung out with, who would sit in his lap and would visit him after she graduated. They could not have been any more obvious. Edit. For everyone asking, this was a performing arts high school in San Diego from about 2005 to 2008. She sat on his lap at school in front of people. How is that allowed? It isn't, but surprisingly doesn't get talked about. It's a clear sign that something inappropriate is happening, but it is hardly ever reported. My high school district's superintendent hired a relative who wasn't qualified for the job, increased the salary of administrators every year, used the district's credit card to buy meals, groceries, gas, personal electronics, and gift cards. When the state audit went through, they said that the overpay of administrators and the personal spending cost the school district around $1.1 million. Her husband was also an administrator. When she eventually got caught, she just retired and for some reason never faced federal charges. When she retired, she had a $260,518 salary. My favorite part is that the state audit discovered that the district's credit card was used to purchase logging equipment the same month the superintendent's husband filed paperwork to open a timber company. Everyone knew there was corruption in the school district, but no audits or investigations happened until someone was threatened by the superintendent's husband on Facebook. Wow, no wonder public schools are in such bad shape. The caretaker snapped 2 local girls and hid them in the school. He tried using the clay kiln to burn them. He later dumped them a few miles away. Oh, I lived in the UK when that happened. We had literally just moved there. It was very sad. Didn't he get in the news looking for them? His girlfriend was shady too. I don't care who you are to me. If you snap a couple of kids, I'm going straight to the police. It turned out the girlfriend, Max and Care, knew nothing. She wasn't there. But she did, incredibly stupidly, claim she was to give him an alibi when he asked her to. When it all came out, she pleaded guilty to perverting the course of justice, but was cleared of aiding an offender. It was a tragedy for her too. She was a teacher's assistant and the girls, Holly and Jessica Chapman, had come to visit her unannounced. She was out and the boyfriend, Ian Huntley, abducted and murdered them. How do you live with the guilt of that? She was given a new identity after being released because a lot of people blamed her for the murders and has dropped out of public view. The last news was that she had had a child because the order banning her identity being revealed was extended to it too. She deserves to live her life in peace. It's been hard enough on her. One 9th grader broke water on her field trip and one of the teachers had to help deliver the baby. I have so many questions. A very popular guy at my school was arrested for videotaping people using the restroom. He was 18. They were not. Can't believe he videotaped 19-year-olds. That's terrible. Joke's on you. He was the coolest dude in kindergarten. I went to a small Christian high school that also had a middle and elementary school on the grounds. The principal of the high school had a child that was in my grade. One day he comes over the intercom and announces that he's stepping down from his position. He then goes on to talk about how he and the female gym coach had been having an emotional affair for the last few months. This announcement goes through every speaker in all 3 schools. I remember everyone in my class looking over at his daughter, who had a look of complete surprise on her face. From what I gathered, this was the first time she was hearing about all of this. Shortly after, the gym teacher also left her position, but the most interesting part? The gym teacher had no idea this was going on. She was just doing her job and thought she was friends with everyone. The principal read more into their relationship and decided to go to the church with it, and they made this decision. The gym teacher left her job out of shame and had to spend a lot of time explaining to her husband what exactly was going on. Edit, adding information that others have asked about. The gym teacher's husband took a little time to realize that there was no actual affair that went on. After that, the rumors and gossip in the area got to be too much, and he ended up getting a different job pretty far away and moved them both to start fresh. The principal and his wife got a divorce within a day or so of the announcement. The wife got custody of all 3 kids, plus I think eventually their house and a fair amount of money. The former principal took a job selling either cars or furniture, I can't remember which, and pretty much faded from the radar. I don't think his eldest daughter had anything to do with him after all of that. I wanna say that she intentionally made sure he stayed away from her wedding. A girl died in the pool during an event at the school. The swim teacher was blamed and was prosecuted. The girl who died was at my sister's class. Both were 7 at the time. That happened over 10 years ago, but the parents haven't had another child since. She was their only kid. Oh gosh, that is heartbreaking. So many of these other stories are gross or funny, but this one, oh, that poor family. My high school guidance counselor fricked a science teacher's wife and everyone knew about it. They got a divorce. Both teachers still work at the same school to this day, and students will never ever let it go. The story has been handed down from year to year. So it is written, so it is told, so let it be written, so let it be done. A year after I graduated HS, a woman was stabbed 40+ times with a pair of scissors while jogging on our track on a Sunday. One of the guys in that year's senior class wound up hanging around the track over the following days, obsessively pestering investigators with questions and theories, so naturally some suspicion fell on him. When the woman's description of her assailant, she survived, matched him spot on, he was arrested, and both the scissors used and his bloody clothes were found at his house. Dude was sentenced to 10+ years in prison. End of story. Right? Wrong. 2 years after the trial, the jailed kid is ordered released after his little brother, 1 year younger and a dead lookalike for his big bro, is popped for violent sexual assault on a woman and confesses to the stabbing during questioning. Turns out the older brother took the fall for him, falsely confessing so that he could keep his younger sib out of jail. Dude never told anyone, but did admit the lie after his younger brother's arrest and confession. I knew both kids when I was a student there. Both brothers were definitely thought to be weirdly intense, but their behavior was attributed to their military dad's strict style of parenting, and not anything darker. My high school had some fights that for some reason managed to make the local news, and the principal's words about it were broadcasted as well. She was pissed and talked loudly in a passive-aggressive manner over the announcements the next morning, repeating our school's mission statement over and over, ending the broadcast with record that. Record that became a bit of a meme around the school after that, and the school seems to have lightened up about the situation since, because the journalism team shirts have record that written across the back. My mum was a principal of a school where this happened. The story was run as the school having a fight club on a sensationalist TV program masquerading as news, with the 10 seconds of mobile phone footage played on loop after loop. What had happened is that some kids got into a fight in a park and someone had got a shaky video and put it on MySpace, where it slightly blew up, then got picked up. My mum was livid because she was turning the school's reputation around.
Thanks for watching the video. Please leave a like and subscribe for daily Reddit content.